Oh man, I feel like I'm talking about this way too much, but budgets are becoming so absurdly large. It's genuinely a joke. It's a joke by this point because the new Knives Out movie, Wake Up Dead Man, which looks pretty interesting, but the budget has just come out that it's reportedly $210 million. Where is this money going? Where are you going to have to be forced to spend this much money on a whodunit? What kind of set pieces are you having? Like, this is an absurd amount of money. I've talked about this in a video before, but another reason of why Hollywood is struggling so bad, is because of these absurd budgets. Like this impossible amount of money that you could ever expect to make a profit from. And these Knives Out movies, Netflix paid like what $450 million just to get the distribution. Now they're spending another $200 million to actually make the movie. And then where is this? How are you going to make any money from this? Are you going to put it in theaters? Nope. You're just going to go straight to streaming with this one. There's no point for this. There's no point that this movie should be costing this much because Netflix is just burning money. I mean, the Russo brothers have a movie that's $320 million for that budget. Like, this money is just so stupid how they're spending it. I genuinely have no idea what Netflix is thinking about with these budgets. Like, how do you expect to be making any money back from all this stuff? And you know what's something that they could do? Maybe, I don't know, put the movies out in theaters? Just saying. But no, they just decide that they're just going to put all their movies out on streaming and just get absolutely zero money from it. It's so frustrating, especially because Knives Out is such a cool movie to see in the theaters. I never actually got to watch the original Knives Out in theaters. I would do it again if I could in a heartbeat. But a lot of the Glass Onion, which a lot of people seem to be, it really seems to be a controversial movie. I really loved it. I know a lot of people like it, but a lot of people seem to also really hate it. It's an interesting movie. They're the exact kinds of movies I'd love to spend my money and my time out to go see them in theaters. But no, they're just stuck on streaming where they're going to lose all the money for Netflix. They're going to gain nothing from it. My biggest question is just where this money is going to. Because I get for like the Russo brothers movie, they're doing a sci-fi film, and oftentimes they can cost a pretty penny. But this is a whodunit. A whodunit. This is not a big budget type of genre. This is just a small contained little story about finding out who a killer of a murderer is. And so I don't understand where this is going to. I mean, is it the cast? They really spend this much money? Because like these are some pretty big names, but come on, they're not getting Leonardo DiCaprio to star in this. Like, where would this money be even going to? I don't get how you could spend this much money on a cast because there's no way that someone like Josh Brolin is asking for $25 million to appear in this movie. Like, a lot of these actors are just not that level of Hollywood celebrity. That's still not saying, like, they're still big actors, but, like, they're not anywhere near, like, to the point where they're having to spend this much money. And so, where else does this go to? Are they just deciding to just, I don't know, let's just do everything super lazy and just spend a little extra money here and there? Like, it's not going to do anything. And then all that slowly adds up and it gets to this inflated budget. That's really the only thing I can think of because nothing else makes sense. But I mean, what do you think of this all? Like, where do you think this money is going to? As well, just what are your thoughts on the overall situation? I say situation. It's not really a situation. It's just an absurd piece of news that I found today. And that's really it. That's really all to say. I mean, this is a pretty short video. I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about it. It's just this little update I found about this absurdly large budget for a movie that should not be anywhere near, especially because this movie, $210 million, that's 5 times the original budget of the first film. And I really don't know how much bigger you make that movie. Like, I get for like Glass Onion where like you spend a little bit more because of some of the set pieces and stuff that happens, but where would this money even go? Maybe I see the trailer for this movie and it blows my mind. It completely makes sense why they're spending this much money. I really don't know how you could even get to that point where it makes sense to spend that much money. I don't know if there is possibly a reality with that. And it just all goes back to this is just a thing that's plaguing Hollywood. Is just these inflated budgets that are impossible to make any money by. And even if this played in theaters, realistically, off a $210 million budget, is this really going to make a profit? I don't think so. I only think even if you played it in theaters, I don't think that this would actually make a lot of money. I don't know if you'd probably lose money off of this, but you have to compare that and then compare it to just putting it on streaming, where you're going to most definitely lose far much more money. And I get the whole idea of streaming is really different. It's really unique from theaters because it's not based off of getting people to watch your stuff. It's based on making sure that people don't unsubscribe from your streaming service. And so you got to put out a lot of movies like these, but like again, movies aren't made for streaming. TV shows are made for streaming. If you want to make a good streaming service, you make good TV shows. You don't put out these movies that could be playing in theaters and making millions of dollars. You don't play those films in streaming services where they're never going to make any money because you can't put a TV show out on theaters. Like, that makes sense why you never do that. But whenever you have a chance to make a lot of money back and make a lot of money from the theaters, like there's so many good movies that would have made far so much more money if they just played in the theaters. But instead, they're just dumping it all off on streaming. It's really bleak. It's really depressing that this is what Hollywood is kind of resorted to. This is what they do now. This shouldn't be the norm. This should never be the norm. If movies should only ever be seen in the theaters, they should. That's where films are designed to be seen, in this giant screen with a room full of strangers who are all feeling the exact same emotions as you. That's how movies should be watched. They should not be watched on your couch on a TV screen. That's just, it doesn't feel the same. Every time I watch a movie on a TV, it never feels the same as watching it on the theaters. I go back to a good example of Killers of the Flower Moon. That trailer, I watched it a lot of times at my home on like either my phone or TV or whatever, and it looked really good. And then I went to see it in IMAX, and that trailer completely blew me away. It was a complete different experience. That's why this movie is like Oppenheimer, where I'm scared of watching it in my house because it's just a totally different experience from being able to be in the theaters and seeing that. And there's just, it's night and day. Whenever you really have a true passion for movies, you understand what I'm talking about. You understand that the theaters is far more valuable. You get so much more out of it as compared to watching it at home. But okay, I know that I said that that was really off to say, and then I went on a big rant about that. But no, that's really it. That's really all I have to say about this whole situation. Like I said, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And I mean, if you made it this far, I can subscribe, share the video if you want. I mean, all of it, just liking it, just helps me out a lot. Just me personally, it what keeps me going. It brings me so much joy, and I really appreciate it a lot. But like I said, that's really everything that I have to say about this situation. So until next time, it's movie talk. See ya.